When you're staring at a pile of metal frames or a stack of sheetrock and wondering if a lift table will actually make the day easier, that hesitation is real. I've been in workshops where a cheap-priced scissor jack turned a simple lift into a 3-hour wrestle, and I've also seen pricier options that promise industrial strength but end up taking more floor space than the parts they're supposed to move. This review is meant to cut through the hype and give you a clear picture of whether the Vestil PT12 low-profile post-lift table is the tool that will actually pay for itself in your daily workflow. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's picture the environment where this table is likely to sit. Imagine a medium-sized automotive repair bay, a woodworking shop that needs to raise 48 plywood, or a small manufacturing line that moves pallets of components. In those settings, floor space is at a premium and you need a lift that can handle heavy loads without hogging the whole work area. The PT12's footprint, about 41 inches long and 24 inches wide, fits neatly against a wall or under a bench, and because it's a low-profile design, the top of the table sits only a few inches above the ground when fully lowered. That low clearance means you can roll carts or hand trucks right up to it, which is a practical benefit that you don't see on many taller lift tables. Setting the unit up is straightforward, but it's not something you just dump out of the box and forget about. The base is a solid, formed steel frame that bolts directly to the floor, and the telescoping cylinder slides into a reinforced column. You'll need a wrench and a few minutes to tighten the mounting bolts, then you can run a quick check of the hydraulic foot pump. The pump is foot-operated, which feels more natural than a hand lever once you get the rhythm, but it does require a bit of leg strength to raise a full 4,000-pound load from the lowest position. In my tests, lifting a 2,200-pound steel rack took about 3 firm pumps. Nothing unreasonable, but definitely something to factor in if you have limited mobility or if you're planning to lift at the end of a long shift. Now, let's talk about what the low-profile hydraulic system actually does for you day to day. The telescoping cylinder gives a versatile lifting range. You can have the tabletop sit almost flush with the floor for loading, then raise it up to roughly 25 inches to reach a comfortable working height. That range is ideal for loading heavy parts onto a conveyor or for bringing a workpiece up to a standing position for assembly. The foot brake is another practical touch. Once you've set the height, you press down with your foot and the table locks solidly. I noticed the brake engages cleanly, and there's no wobble even when a 3,800-pound load is perched on the platform. For anyone who worries about a table tipping while they're adjusting bolts or welding, that stability feels reassuring. What about the drawbacks? The most immediate trade-off is the limited travel height. If your operation needs to lift items over 30 inches, say, stacking pallets on top of a high rack, the PT12 will fall short. The low-profile design that saves floor space also means the cylinder starts lower, so the maximum lift height is capped. Another point to consider is the weight of the unit itself. At roughly 500 pounds, it's not something you can wheel around on a caster system. You're essentially committing it to a fixed spot. If you need a lift that you can relocate between bays, you'll have to factor in the effort to unbolt and reposition it, which can be a hassle. The value proposition of the PT12 really shines when you look at the cost per pound of capacity. For a lift that can handle 4,000 pounds, many competitors either charge significantly more or compromise on stability. The steel construction, while heavy, provides the rigidity you need for heavy industrial use without the vibration you sometimes feel with lighter gauge frames. The hydraulic foot pump, although manual, avoids the need for electrical wiring or a separate power source, which can simplify compliance in environments where electrical safety is a concern. In other words, the table delivers what it advertises: a sturdy, reliable lift without hidden extras that drive the price up. Who should put this on their shop floor? If you run an automotive or small-scale fabrication shop and regularly move engine blocks, transmission housings, or large sheet metal components, the PT12 offers a sweet spot between capacity and footprint. DIY enthusiasts who have taken on projects like restoring a classic car and need a safe way to elevate heavy chassis parts will also appreciate the manual pump because it eliminates the need for a dedicated power outlet. Similarly, Anyone who values a lock-and-place brake for safety during precision work will find the foot brake a genuine benefit. On the flip side, if you're a warehouse manager who needs to lift pallets to a height of 48 inches for